Here with North Dakota State men's basketball coach David Richman. The Bison have won 5 straight games after a victory at home over Oral Roberts and getting ready for a Valentine's Day game against Purdue Fort Wayne before going back out on the road again. And Dave, first let's talk about the road trip and the way it ended. You know, you grind your way through a couple of games, have to go back on the road down to Omaha, get that one done, then come home and have to get ready to play another home game just a few days later. It was a tough stretch, but I think your group really handled it well this year.
I thought maybe you wanted to start out by talking about our matching outfits
that
we got going on here too.
Today.
Yeah.
Impressive.
You know, smart minds think alike, right? No, I appreciate you bringing that up, Brian, and it's great to be back here in town after. It was a fun stretch, obviously, when you can go 3-0 on the road and come back home and take care of business. But it's also a grueling stretch, and I think you can certainly talk about things, physically, the grind of it physically, but a lot of it is mentally. You're in different areas, your body's functioning in different ways, but you're quickly preparing for another team. You're quickly trying to figure out what's the rhythm and routine of where you're at. You're playing an afternoon game, then you're playing an evening game. You're playing East Coast time zone, then you're playing Central. So just very pleased, and I think it's a credit to our veteran leadership that we have. 4 terrific seniors and some juniors and just some a phrase that I keep going back to, some been there, done that guys, and certainly it helps to be healthy as well.
And then this week you get more of a break, Dave. You've been used to playing 2 games a week. You get just the 1 game this week before going back out on the road again. And I know some coaches like that. Maybe some coaches don't appreciate that as much. Where do you stand on it?
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's a happy medium, Brian. And when you say the word break to me, at some point it kind of feels like a swear word right now. We're in a really good rhythm and routine, obviously. And our guys, to their credit, their competitive spirit, we're finding ways to win. That being said, because of the stretch too, I think if we're smart with it and if we're strategic with it, we can take a mental break more so than anything. But when we need to get back at it, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are really important days for a big game on Friday. And the last thing you want to do is get comfortable. The last thing you want to do is relax. The last thing you want to do is completely exhale. But also we understand that you're kind of through the dog days of February now. The light is at the end of the tunnel. Only 5 games left already in the regular season as we close into March, and it's important to be mentally fresh and have our legs as well.
So now you get ready for Purdue Fort Wayne. Had a spirited battle with them at their place. Had a big lead. They came back. Your guys really responded in the last 5 minutes of that game. Cameron Hunter in particular. I think that was a big win for your group. Just again showing the experience and battling back, in a pretty good environment on the road.
Yeah, your word, a spirited game, that's kind of, hits the nail on the head, so to speak, and just really pleased with our guys. You look at the back half of that game, the last 5 minutes, and with all the extenuating circumstances, the travel being, the 4th day on the road and the second game in 3 days and all that, when we could have quit, we could have spit the bit, so to speak, like we talk about in our program, we didn't. And Cameron Hunter was terrific. I mean, just terrific, making big-time winning plays. And you're able to play in that game 2 point guards, 2 combo guards, and Vinny and Cam at the same time. And when you have ball-in-hand guys like that that can make big shots and get to the free throw line and get paid, it's a real luxury. And, again, just the resilience. We had an unbelievable close to the first half to go up 11. I think at one point we gapped it to 13. You knew John Coughlin coached teams would make a response, and they certainly did, to go up 5 or 6. But our guys never wavered. There wasn't any panic, and we made some big-time winning plays down the stretch.
I know it's always the next game, and you can't get too far ahead of yourself, and that's one of those things. I know as a coach you're always preaching to your guys, but you've at least put yourself in a position here in the last 3 weeks of the season to make a run at a regular season championship. And at least it's good to be in this position, right? I mean, you're playing for something still here in the middle of February. Not a lot of teams are.
No, and certainly it's better than the alternative, right? But we've been able to do that by attacking the next day, attacking the next practice, film session. And I know that's boring in a lot of ways, but don't get bored with being great. And I think that's a big key, and that's a big phrase within our program. And credit our guys for understanding. You come to our practices, they're extremely competitive, and there's probably a reason, something I maybe need to evaluate in the offseason. But some of our injuries are coming in practice. But because of how hard our guys compete in practice, a lot of times that carries over into games. And so, especially at this point, we're not going to change it. But we're in a great position. But we're in a great position because we've stressed the importance of every single day.
All right, Dave. Good luck on Friday, and then we'll talk to you down the road.
Thank you, Brian.